It's the morning of September 15, 1940, and at RAF Duxford, Squadron Leader Douglas Bader is standing beside his Hurricane, watching the sky to the southeast. For weeks, the Luftwaffe has been hammering British airfields and cities, testing the strength of RAF Fighter Command, probing for the moment when Britain's defenses finally break. Bader, who lost both his legs in a flying accident years before the war, has fought his way back into a cockpit through sheer stubbornness, and today, he commands not just his own squadron, but a 5-squadron formation known as the Duxford Wing. The telephone in the dispersal hut rings, and a controller's voice crackles through. Large formations forming up over the Pas de Calais. Looks like the big one, all squadrons to readiness. Bader turns to his pilots, gathered around in flying jackets, parachutes slung over their shoulders. Right, gentlemen, sounds like Jerry's coming in force today. Let's not disappoint him. Across the channel, at a Luftwaffe airfield near Amiens, Oberleutnant Karl Fischer climbs into the cockpit of his Messerschmitt Bf-109, one of dozens of fighters tasked with escorting a massive formation of Dornier and Heinkel bombers toward London. Fischer has flown escort missions for weeks now, and every time the losses climb a little higher. Today we finished this, his commanding officer tells the assembled pilots. London burns, and England begs for peace. Fischer straps in, saying nothing. He has heard this promise before. The German formation crosses the channel in a great droning mass. Over 100 bombers escorted by fighters, stacked above them in layers. The largest daylight raid the Luftwaffe has launched against London. British radar stations pick them up almost as soon as they cross the coast. Multiple raids forming, heading north-northwest. Estimated strength 100 plus. Scramble all squadrons. At Duxford, the order comes through and Bader's pilots sprint for their aircraft. Scramble, scramble, scramble. Bader hauls himself up into his cockpit, strapping in with practice speed despite his artificial legs, and fires up the Merlin engine. One by one, 60 fighters from 5 squadrons lift off from the grass airfield and begin climbing hard toward the southeast, forming up into the big wing as they go. Duxford Wing, this is sector control. Vector 120, Angels 20, Pancake Force approaching London from the south. Roger, control, wing, turning onto 120. Over the Kent coastline, other squadrons are already engaging. Spitfires from 72 and 92 squadrons dive out of the sun onto the leading edge of the German formation, and the sky fills with tracer fire and the white contrails of turning fighters. In his Bf-109, Fischer sees the first flash of Spitfires diving through the bomber stream far below him. Spitfires, 11 o'clock high, break and engage. The German fighter escort peels away from the bombers to meet the attack, and within seconds the ordered formation dissolves into a swirling, twisting fight scattered across 10,000 feet of sky. Bader's big wing arrives minutes later, 60 fighters converging on the bomber stream from above just as it nears the outskirts of London. Tally-ho! Tally-ho! Bandits dead ahead, stepped up. Right, boys, let's break them up before they reach the city. Sections, echelon starboard, follow me down. Bader rolls his Hurricane over and dives toward the leading Vic of Dorniers. The rest of his squadron peeling off behind him in a long curving line. He lines up the nearest bomber in his gun sight, closing the range fast. Steady! Steady! He opens fire, his 8 Browning machine guns hammering into the Dornier's fuselage. Pieces of metal skin tear away and one engine begins trailing thick black smoke. The bombers sluice out of formation, falling behind the others. Once hit, keep pressing, keep pressing. All around him, the sky is a chaos of diving fighters, tumbling bombers, and threads of tracer fire crisscrossing in every direction. A Hurricane from another section takes a burst of cannon fire across its wing and spins away trailing white glycol smoke, the pilot fighting to right it. I'm hit! I'm hit! Going down! Bail out, Jack! Bail out now! The stricken Hurricane rolls onto its back and the pilot drops clear, his parachute snapping open high above the rooftops of South London as people in the streets below stop and stare upward at the battle unfolding over their city. Above the fight, Fischer spots a lone Hurricane breaking away from the main melee and dives after it, closing the distance with his superior speed. He gets the fighter squarely in his gun sight and fires a short burst, watching the tracers converge on the Hurricane's tail. Got him. Watch him go down. But the Hurricane snaps into a violent turn, tighter than Fischer expects, and suddenly the positions reverse. The British fighter is turning inside him, coming around.
bearing 190.
190, setting!
Loader, more rounds, quickly now.
They're turning back. Plot the remaining raids as gone home.
Roger. Group. All squadrons are currently reforming. We have reserves at readiness.
Duty plotter. New raid inbound. Track 4.
Acknowledged, sir. Markers moving to C square.
Are you all right, Herr Fischer? Just tired. Check the fuel lines on Blacker. Yes, Feldwebel. Move it faster.
New raid plotted, sir. Hostiles approaching point A.
Right. Scramble the squadron. Duxford up at Angels 15.